Okay, I was hoping to not do anything today, but of course that didn't happen. Two rulings came out today. They're both at the circuit court level, and we are going to talk about both. I'm not sure which one we're going to get into first because one is a criminal case, an as applied challenge, and the other case deals with concealed carrying on public transportation. So, with that said, let's jump into it. All right, hey everyone, welcome back. This is John Crump, and on this show, we talk about gun news, rulings, and everything else like that, whether they are good, bad, or indifferent. We have two different cases today, and the first case we're going to be talking about is a case that at the district court level, a charge against the guy that had a machine gun conversion device, Glock switch, was thrown out because he said that the Second Amendment protects machine guns. So this was appealed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, and it went in front of a three-judge panel, and they reversed the district court's decision. Now, this case is, I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen here. It is, here it is. It is the United States versus Tamori. Tamori Morgan is the guy that was arrested and basically got off on the district court level because he filed for a motion to dismiss. The judge in the case granted the motion to dismiss on Second Amendment grounds, but it wasn't dismissed with prejudice, which means it can never be brought up. It was without prejudice. So what they did is the state appealed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, where it was heard by a three-judge panel. Now, if you look at this, you can see the different groups that filed amicus briefs. Basically, these are friend of the court's briefs. Brady, of course, Giffords, California Rifle Pistol Association, CRPA, of course, Second Amendment Law Center, Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners of California, Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, Second Amendment Defense and Education Coalition, and Attorneys on Retainer all filed amicus briefs. Some filed for it, some filed against it. And basically, what happened in this case is the three-judge panel reversed I don't know where Rich is, reversed the decision of the district court level and said he could be prosecuted for having an unregistered machine gun because what happened is that they said that the defendant could not prove that machine guns are in common use for self-defense. There was a bunch of different numbers thrown around, 750,000 registered machine guns in private hands, but the judges said that it wasn't the AM-15. If we read here, we'll get to that in a second. What the judges said is that the defendant would have to prove that machine guns are in common use for self-defense, which you couldn't do. He was caught with an AM-15, which is an Anderson Manufacturing machine gun, which I guess it was. It was converted to be a machine gun, and also a 357 Glock that was. Yeah, but Jacob, look right here. It was configured to fire automatically. So it wasn't because it was an AM-15. It was because he converted it to fire automatically. So they said that there wasn't enough evidence that he gave to prove that these machine guns are in common use for self-defense. And because of that, they are going to hold that machine guns are not in common use and therefore not protected arms under the Second Amendment. Because in Heller, it said that dangerous and unusual weapons can be banned. And basically, they're saying that machine guns are dangerous and unusual because they're not in common use and therefore can be banned in not protected arms under the Second Amendment. I totally disagree with this. What the plaintiff can do is they can ask for an en banc hearing where the full bench will hear the case and the panel decision will get vacated. Now, if en banc is granted, the panel decision is vacated, so it's like it's never happened, and it will be like a do-over. I think that's probably what's gonna happen. He can also go directly to SCOTUS, but SCOTUS is not gonna touch this case, I can guarantee you that. So his best bet is to go to an en banc to try to get the full panel to agree with the district court level and disagree with the 3-judge panel. So we'll have to see what happens with that. That is the first case. Now, let's get to the second case, which is definitely going to affect more people than that one case there. This case is out of Chicago, and this was in the Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. And this case is Schoenthal versus Raoul. This deals with carrying of concealed weapons on public transportation. As the plaintiffs try to argue that banning concealed weapons from public transportation is unconstitutional over the Bruin doctrine. The Bruin standard says that first thing is they look at the plain text of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is basically saying the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The plaintiff in this case is definitely part of the people, so that checks off the first part. The carrying of firearms outside the home has been affirmed by Bruin. Therefore, that is also presumably constitutional. Now it goes to the history and tradition of firearms regulations in the nation. Now, the state here only presented 3 different analogs, and to be fair, the judges said that's not enough. The analogs were not good enough, and there was not enough analogs to prove that the carry ban was constitutional. But now this is where we get into the slippery slope thing. What they said was since the man could carry his firearm on public transportation, unloaded and locked up, that the law banning the concealed carry of firearms on public transportation was constitutional because he could still carry it. He just couldn't carry it in the way that that they that he wanted to, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of concealed carrying. And also, I don't think that the panel in this case got it right because it's keeping and bearing arms. And even though that you're carrying a firearm unloaded and locked up, you're not really bearing those arms. That gun is useless to you if you need to use it for self-defense because you're not going to be breaking out your case, unlocking the gun, loading it up, and using it to defend yourself. By that point, it's it's too late. So I believe that the panel from the Seventh Circuit did get this wrong. And I do believe that this is going to go to an en banc. What is going to happen? just like in the other case, they're going to ask for the full panel to review the case. The panel's decision is going to be like vacated, and the full bench will hear the case. I do have a better feeling on this case winning at the en banc than the one from the 10th Circuit, just because the courts really, really do not like machine guns. But in the 7th Circuit, they aren't really, really that anti-gun, so I can see this case going to the en banc of the 7th Circuit and winning. This means that it we're months off from getting a final verdict in that. They can also skip the 2nd Circuit totally, or the 7th Circuit totally, and go directly to the Supreme Court. I don't see that happening. I see it going to an en banc because the Supreme Court can deny cert. In most cases, they do deny cert. So I think it's a better chance for the plaintiffs to go to an en banc and try to win at the en banc than going directly to SCOTUS on this. So there you go. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you guys like me to open up the phone lines and take some calls? Because I am more than willing to do that. Just let me know. I think I will. Hold on. Let me just get my setup here and we will go. Give me 1 second here. Hey, 1 second here. Let's see. We are going to connect and yeah, we'll take some calls if anybody wants to call in. Sometimes a lot of people call in, sometimes no one calls in. It's one of those things. All right, let's see here. I am connecting it right now. Should be connecting in a second here. For some reason it's not connecting. Let me just reboot the Bluetooth here. All right, it's connecting, I think. Or it's not. All right, let me just do this. I will forget this device and then add it. All right, almost done, guys. Don't call in yet because still trying to connect. All right. Why is my system not working? Just give me 1 second. I'll reboot if I have to. Which it looks like I might have to. It might sound kind of bad right now, but whatever. It's rebooting. And I will get it up and running in a second here. Great. Let's now let's try it. All right. All right, you guys can call in now if you want. We have it all hooked up. So let's just start with the calls. If you guys want to call, the number is out there. If not, I'll put it up on the screen here. We find it. And I don't think I have the number. Oh, here it is. There we go. So that's the number if you want to talk, call in. If not, we'll just end the show early. But yeah, is the echo gone now? Echo should be gone now. Yeah, I was switching over. I had to switch to my iPhone because I had to reboot my soundboard where my phone rings through. So it should be better now. All right. If no one calls in the next uh, few seconds, I will go ahead and end the show. You guys asked for this, so go ahead and call in if you want. All right. Doesn't look like anyone is calling in, but yeah, these two cases are definitely interesting. The Seventh Circuit is disappointing. Saint Eve was on the panel. He was a Trump appointee, but just because Trump appoints a judge does not mean that they're going to be good on the Second Amendment at all. And we have seen a few. Look at Amy Coney Barrett, for example, on in Rahimi and also in Vanderstock. So yeah, it's just one of those things where not all Republicans are anti or pro gun, but all Democrats are anti gun. Along as basically if they're judges, not like the run and mill. There's some pro gun Democrats out there, but the people that end up on the bench that are Democrats are always going to be anti gun, but not all the Republicans and conservatives that end up on the bench will be pro gun. And we have seen that with St. Eve in this case right here, where they decided against the Second Amendment. And the decision that they used makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It ignores big parts of Heller where carrying a firearm, and also Bruin where carrying a firearm outside the home is to be used for self-defense. One of the reasons why you carry a firearm outside the home is for self-defense, which is it's crazy that they came to the conclusion. They just ignored part of the Heller decision and ignored part of the Bruin decision to come up with the answer that they wanted to uphold an unconstitutional law. We've been winning a lot more than we've been losing. So because of that, I'm not feeling too bad about this. But yeah, um, I think we will win if it goes to a panel from the panel to the en banc where the full bench we hear this. So we're gonna have to hear what happens here. But with that, it looks like no one's gonna call in, which is fine because I have stuff to do anyway. And we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. And with that, we are out of here. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keeping the fight, and Wolverines MFers.